is always something to look at, always something in bloom in the garden. And today we're going to take a look at foxglove, peonies, roses, and a few other things in between. It is early morning and we are here at Leia's garden. There are a lot of things starting to bloom right now, and some of my favorites include the peonies and the foxglove. So let's take a look at those. If you've been watching my videos, then you know that this is a garden that we developed in order to be deer resistant. It's only 1 year old. We developed it last year from scratch. This was an area that there was just some junky grass, wasn't growing well, and we decided to create a new garden bed. If you are curious how we did that, I do have a video that shows the steps we took, and I will include that in a link. Now, the peonies in this bed were all transplanted from other places in the garden, and they were transplanted in early spring when they were only a few inches high, and that is when I recommend doing peony transplants. And things that you need to know: they do not like to be planted deeply. They like to be fairly high. They like a really nice rich soil, so we added a lot of soil amendments. And beyond that, just giving them some good watering, and then this spring I gave them a nice dose of all-purpose fertilizer. Now, this bed includes quite a few Festiva maxima, and I particularly like this one. It's a beautiful white, but it has those little hints of red on some of the inner petals, and I think that's quite charming. The flowers are really, really large. Here is a peony called Charles Burgess. That lovely, deep, deep pink petal. And if you notice, the stamens in the center are pink, but they are capped in that very gold, yellow gold color. Another very pretty one. Now, here is one. I don't know what this is. It has this very mottled, striped petal. And I have been looking up various types of peonies to see if I could figure it out. And I'm wondering, was this some sort of mutation? I think this is one that I originally got from my mom. She gave me some pieces of her peonies years ago. If you have some idea what this is, by all means, please let me know. Here is another lovely peony, but this one is pretty much pure white. This is a Shirley Temple, and it starts out with pale, pale pink petals that gradually turn a beautiful solid white. And as you can see, there are no other colors in there. It's just white, but a lovely, lovely flower. You can see other things in bloom here. There's some Persian blue catmint here, and I think it looks very, very nice with the peonies. Also some nice Caradonna salvia blooming, and foxglove, and we'll take a separate look at those. And I think I showed you these bearded iris in one of the last videos I did, but they're worth a second look. Look how beautiful these are. Now, here is another peony that I really, really like. This is one that my mom gave me. This is Monsieur Jules Elie. What a fancy looking flower. Look at this beauty. What magnificent flowers. The only problem with peonies is they do need staking. That is a brilliant color. And I think I absolutely am going to have to start investing in some different methods of staking these up. The problem is many of the peony commercial peony towers, you know, they cost $35 each for a tall one, and I've got 20 peonies. So I'm gonna have to come up with a different solution. I am just loving what these Kusa dogwood are doing right now. They are so full of blooms this year. You can see that the rhododendron next to them have finished. The flowers are turning brown, but we always have a parade of color going. And now we're moving on to things like these Kusa dogwood. This is a Wilson rhododendron, and I rarely see it blooming this much. It has very, very tiny flowers, but you can see that it is covered with them this year. I think probably because we had a very wet spring. This year they were very, very happy. This plant has been here for 30 years too, so it's an old friend. Now I have another bed with peonies in it in the front yard. And why don't we go and take a look and see what that one is doing? Ah, and I see it. We've got blooms. This is another one that has transplants in it. Now these were transplanted 3 years ago. And look at the size of these plants. They are ginormous. This is more of the Festiva Maxima. Again, I just love that little red accent in the flower. And once again, I don't have to worry about these out here. I don't even spray them with deer spray. The deer just leave them alone. Now here is an absolutely beautiful peony. It is called Pink Hawaiian Coral. I love it because it starts out with this deep, deep coral color. And then as it ages, gets a little lighter, a little more yellow, as you can see on these flowers, and eventually goes to a flower that is almost white. Very, very pretty. And here is a peony called Sorbet. And you can see that it has 3 tiers of petals. It has pink petals at the bottom, a white fringe in the middle, and then a crown of pink. Another really exotic looking flower. This dogwood is a celestial shadow, which is a Cornus Kusa cross. And we planted it here to take the place of a very large tree that was felled in a storm. I love the variegation on the leaves and these beautiful white flowers. I think it's done very, very well. I think we've got some great color going here with this bloodgood Japanese maple, and now the dogwood's in flower. And from here you can see how big that oak tree is that I keep talking about. This thing is absolutely gigantic. It absolutely towers over my house. And over to where the peonies are. Now I really like spreading foxglove around. This particular bed has some boxwood in it and an urn in the center. And last year I seeded it with foxglove seeds. Now, foxglove is a biennial, so last year all we had were the little rosettes of leaves. But look at this year. Magnificent flowers. And there's still a lot more bloom to come. Look at all these foxglove. They are absolutely beautiful. They're probably 50% in bloom at this point. Now, foxglove is a poisonous plant, so I don't have to worry about any of the critters going after it. And we've ended up with so many different variations. You can see a lovely white here. Here's some that are a very deep purple. Wow. I really, really like this. Here we have one that's more or less a medium pink. And here is a very, very pale pink one. Now all of these basically came from the original Dalmatian purple that I planted many, many years ago. But I've collected seeds and I've redistributed them over the years, which is why we have so many today. Now in the upper Moai bed, we have quite a profusion of foxglove along the back of the bed, as well as roses. And they actually play very well together. By the time the foxglove are done, the roses are going to continue reblooming throughout the season. The foxglove have their month of glory, and then the flower stalks fade, turn brown, and that's when I cut them down, and all that's left behind are the little rosettes of leaves on the ground. And those are not in the way of the roses at all. Now look at this. This rose is an oh so easy Italian ice. I don't know if the camera can really pick up on those colors, but it's sort of a yellow center with this kind of pearlescent pink around it. Beautiful, beautiful rose. These yellow roses are really, really brilliant. Again, I think that the lighting doesn't necessarily do them justice. Let me see if I can get close enough. Oh yeah, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. And all mixed in with the foxglove. The one back here is a candy cane cocktail rose, and it's not quite as open as the others, but you can see that beautiful sort of striped variegated flower. And as I said, the roses will keep going, and when the foxglove are done, all you'll see really or notice back here is the roses. Here we are in the crescent bed. More foxglove in bloom. The Yuki cherry blossom deutzia is still in bloom, although the color of the flowers is fading to a more pastel pink at this point. And you can see all of the buds on this wonderful hydrangea here. The foxglove are really stealing the show at this point. I'm always amazed at the different colors that we're getting. From whites to pinks to purples and various things in between. You also get that freckling on the inside of the flower, and the colors are a little different on each of the flowers, which is also very, very interesting. Now, foxglove are very easy to grow, and there is a mutation that I have in my garden. It's called fasciation, and I'll show you an example of that. This is something with the foxglove that I have encouraged. I found foxglove, a few of them doing this a number of years ago, and I collected their seeds and continued to plant them. This is called fasciation. It's where several flowers at the tip join together to make one large bloom. Foxglove usually open from the bottom to the top. In this case, this top bloom opened first. Here is another example. You can see there are several flowers have joined together into one big flower at the top. And as we move along the garden, oh, here's another rose starting to bloom. This is a peach drift rose. Lots and lots of buds on that. And actually, here's another fasciated foxglove. You can see it looks different than the others with that crazy big flower right at the top. Got some rose marvel salvia blooming down here. I really like this one. I love the color. I'd like to put a few more in. And they work very, very well with the foxglove blooming alongside of them. Here's a beautiful rose. Check this one out. Isn't that a fascinating flower?